Welcome to Awakened Sovereignty, a solo cast on ascension, shadow work, empowerment, and alignment with your highest purpose. I'm Chris Pinckley, spiritual coach and guide for those moving through deep awakening, transformation, and personal evolution. Let's begin. In this episode, I'm going to discuss spikes in solar radiation. The mechanism of ascension is solar radiation. Solar radiation is the power behind it all. These massive waves of solar radiation that we are receiving from the sun spike the vibration on the planet, which can be measured by the Schumann resonance of the Earth. A lot of people have that mistaken. They think the Schumann resonance is the cause of it. It's not. It's solar radiation. And they're just measuring the Earth's, bioenergetic reading. But if you looked at any human being, when we get hit with massive solar radiation, you'd see the same spike in them as well, right? So these spikes in solar radiation are designed, they're engineered by higher levels of intelligence. And they're designed to push emotional density. They're designed to push density to the surface to be released and integrated, to be integrated and released, I should say, to be expressed, to be released. And we call that process for human beings, we call that emotional integration. And you allow yourself to purge a bunch of grief, for example, that's been pushed to the surface. We'll say that you've had an integration, and the process is emotional integration. You allow the body to process it by way of sobbing or rage screaming it out, or perhaps shaking it out with fear, whatever it is. It's going to be one of those three. Generally, 85, 90% of the time, it's going to be grief. Most of us are processing grief through this, going through the ascension, right? These waves, increasing with intensity, these increasingly intense waves of solar radiation hit the Earth, spike the vibration, and push suppressed emotional karmic density to the surface to be released. That's the mechanism that we're going through. And purportedly then the great solar flash would be the culmination of it all, the critical mass. And that timeline would be adjusted based on the evaluation of higher levels of intelligence as to, in the kind of the race against the dark side to kind of destroy the planet before we can hit critical mass, which is also the vibration of unconditional love. Some people will say the 3D Earth doesn't matter, that we're here to transcend it. I wouldn't claim to know. I do feel like there are going to be 2 Earths at least, maybe 3 or 4. But at the same time, I sure don't want to see our Earth get destroyed by, the powers that be. And the latest attack is the worst one ever. The data centers are the absolute disaster of humanity, trying to turn us into a real life Death Star, right? To turn us into the Matrix, where the entire planet is nothing but just buildings and metal on the outside and darkness. Anyway, but there are higher levels of intelligence that are not going to let that happen. They're assisting us, and they have, they're perfectly timed solar radiation waves to continue to push and crank on us to get us to release emotional density, to push us higher and higher in vibration, and get us closer to activating our crystalline DNA, where we will, receive heart activation, and then full integration with our higher self will occur shortly after that. But we have been these last 2 months, we've been absolutely blasted by solar radiation, cranking on us really hard. A lot of people go on and on about the ascension symptoms. They're real. I mean, a lot of it is fatigue and exhaustion, feeling like it's hard to move, headaches, dizziness. But most importantly, are doing the emotional release, the emotional integration. when the things, outside circumstances are reflective of the inner emotional debris, and try to get us to push to push that emotional density out by allowing the body to express itself. This is the most important work, that you want to be doing during these times. The other thing to note is that those people who are unconscious of it, unaware of it, or refuse to allow themselves to feel, and are actively, in essence, actively suppressing this surfacing, they're actively repressing, I should say, the surfacing suppressed emotion. They, in turn, will be people that you will likely want to avoid if possible. And the reason is because in the coming times, you may witness people becoming more and more unconsciously reactive as they battle against these surfacing emotions that are trying to get out of the body, and they keep repressing them. They will begin to act it out unconsciously. And many of these people may become dangerous to be around as they start to really lose control of their psychological faculties, their ability to maintain sanity. You would definitely be well advised to avoid high density population areas and high density population events. Maybe minus some spiritual uplifting events where people that are awake and whatnot. But even those, I have a tendency myself to avoid. Kind of a mixed bag of nuts. Really more alone time, clean water, clean organic food, time in meditation. If you can do it, these are the things that will propel you forward. And obviously the surrendering and allowance of the body allowing the body to feel any surfacing suppressed emotion that may be coming up. And this will be, again, facilitated by more and more intense waves of incoming solar radiation, leading up and perhaps to the great solar flash. So this is the time, to really focus in, really drill down, really center yourself, meditate, emotional integration, clean eating, just really simplifying and purifying everything that you do in every way possible. And daily meditation as well, breath work if you can, to really take advantage of or prepare yourself as much as possible for, what's going to become even more intense energy, in the next, days, weeks, and months to come. So I think that'll do it for this episode. As per always, take good care, and we'll talk to you soon. If this episode resonated with what you're moving through, and you're interested in private spiritual coaching around awakening, emotional integration, shadow work, relationships, boundaries, or building a soul-led life and business, email me directly at rc101coaching@gmail.com with the word coaching in the subject line. You can also find the contact link in the show notes. Follow Awaken Sovereignty for future episodes and share this with someone moving through their own awakening. This is Chris Pinckley. Stay awake, stay aligned, stay sovereign.